Good morning, everyone. My name is Rifat Sonmez. I am with the Middle East Technical University, and I am going to present our framework, which is basically a trust-free payment system for construction projects. But before I introduce our framework, I would like to give a little background on the topic. Now, in many construction projects, we have payment issues. And these payment issues cause major problems for the success of the construction projects. The reasons for these payment issues are mainly the poor financial planning of the owner, the uncertainties in the payment terms, and some tactics that the contractor and the owner may employ. Some of them could be unethical to have some additional benefit for themselves. So to prevent these issues with the late payment and non-payment, there has been several research that has focused on this topic. In recent years, the focus has been mainly towards the blockchain and smart contract technologies, which enables development of trust-free systems. So now I am going to present two of our previous studies that we have performed at the Middle East Technical University within this context. And these studies are also going to form the basis of our framework that I will introduce. Now, in the first system that we have developed, which is basically a smart contract application, the purpose was to secure the payments of construction projects. Now, it is not a very difficult system, basically, but the idea is, at that time, it was novel. Now, there is several studies that does the same thing or the similar ideas. Well, the system, the smart contract, at the beginning of the project, or let's say at the beginning of the month, determines the progress payment amount for the next month, actually predicts it, because we don't know it yet, and asks the owner to deposit this amount to an Ethereum blockchain account, which is a project account. It's controlled by the smart contract. Once the owner makes that deposit, the smart contract locks this payment so that it is secured for payment. Now, the advantage is everybody knows that their money is ready at the end of the month. The subcontractors, the contractor, the material vendors. Once this is locked, they know that the financing is available at the end of the month. So when the contractor does the progress payment and the owner approves it, the system transfers this payment amount to the subcontractors, contractor, material vendors according to the contract conditions. And the procedure repeats every month. So this was our initial study. In the second study, we also developed a smart contract application, but the purpose was a little different. Here our purpose was to eliminate or reduce the uncertainties in the payment terms. We also have a smart contract application on the Ethereum blockchain, but it is linked to a BIM model. And we have developed this application for the lump sum projects. So in the BIM model, each BIM object has their payment items based on the contract terms. And in this system, the contractor uses this BIM model to determine the progress of the project. So basically what the contractor does is, the contractor selects the BIM objects that has been completed and then asks the owner to approve this progress. It is not payment, it is only the progress. Once the owner approves this progress data, the application returns this to the smart contract, transfers this information to the smart contract. The smart contract calculates the progress payment amount based on the contract conditions and makes the payment to the contractor and the subcontractors or other parties that are defined by the contract conditions. So there aren't any uncertainties. Everything is clearly defined as a code in the system. Now, although, as I have mentioned, there has been some research on this regard to achieve a trust-free system, majority of the research, almost all of them, including ours, has some limitations to be considered as a full trust-free system. Now, there are two major limitations. First of all, these systems still require approval at a certain point. It could be approval of a owner, contractor, or subcontractors. And they also, the files that are used in these systems are managed by the owner or the contractor or both of the parties. And to eliminate these limitations, we are now presenting our framework, which the idea is to have a fully trust-free system. So we need to eliminate these limitations. And in order to do that, we have integrated a new technology, relatively new technology, which is called Decentralized Cloud. So I would like to introduce this a little bit before I go to our framework. In a decentralized cloud, when we compare it with a regular cloud, which is a central cloud, there are several cloud servers. So there isn't a single server. And the files are distributed among these servers. So if one server goes down, the files you can still are available based on the other servers. It's a very secure system, and it is a very sustainable system also. But the second advantage of decentralized cloud is this cloud could be controlled by a smart contract that runs on the Ethereum blockchain. So you also have the control of these files decentralized and trust-free. So this is a very useful tool that enables us to achieve trust-free systems. Now, in our framework, we have a 5D BIM model that is stored in decentralized cloud, and that is also controlled by a smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain. So these are important components of our framework. And this is also developed for lump sum projects only, although you can adapt this to unit price projects. So the smart contract first determines the progress payment for the next month using this 5D BIM model, which you have the cost items for every BIM object and the schedule also along with that. So with this, the smart contract asks the owner to deposit this amount to the Ethereum project account. Once the owner deposits this amount, it is controlled by the smart contract. So the smart contract locks this immediately. So these funds are ready for the next month. So everybody knows that when the time for the progress payment comes, the funds are secured. And when the time for the progress payment comes, the smart contract triggers a robot that's on site. So this robot is also controlled by the smart contract. So it's a decentralized control. The robot then makes the progress measurement on site using the BIM model that is also on the decentralized cloud, and then returns this project or transfers this progress information to the smart contract. And the smart contract calculates the progress payment amount, makes the payment to the owner, to the contractor, to the subcontractors and to the material vendors using the predefined contract conditions. And then the procedure is repeated next month within the same context. So there isn't any party involvement. It's a fully trust-free system for the progress payments. Although it is an initial idea to have a trust-free system, our framework has several limitations. Now, one of the main and obvious ones is it's a framework. It is not a fully developed and tested system. And also, we have limitations of the smart contracts and blockchain technologies, such as the legal aspects for the practical purposes. the security issues and technical issues that could be difficult for the contractor and owner to employ. And it is only developed for lump sum projects, but as I said, it could be easily adapted for the unit price projects. But for the future work, there is some, I think, promising technologies to achieve decentralized and trust-free systems for construction projects. The first one, as we have mentioned, is decentralized cloud, which enables us to have a uncontrolled or trust-free controls of the files and in a secure manner. And the second promising area is decentralized artificial intelligence. Although we haven't mentioned this in our framework, for the unit price projects, this could be adopted. This is artificial intelligence controlled by a smart contract, such as an Ethereum smart contract. And with these technologies, we can achieve trust-free systems for the construction projects. So this completes my presentation. I think I am on time. Thank you very much.